I'm going to give you some tips on things you should be doing in a dearth. This is going to be really critical. I want you to be on red alert because it's kind of over. The season is over once you see bees no longer flying heavily in and out of the front. And so you need to know what to be doing. So we got a lot of things to show you today on tips that you need to be doing during a dearth. I got a comment from Teacher Bees ABC123 that says, anyone know what's going on? All of a sudden my hive is silent. I still have tons of bees, but they have gone silent. Well, as you can see here, here in Illinois, there's a lot less foraging going on. And it surprises me because there's nice weather. We still have some clover. I think the clover is starting to dry up a lot. And we are entering in the first stages of our dearth, really are. Bees have greatly reduced, at least where I live, they've greatly reduced foraging. They are still foraging, but you will notice on certain times of the day or another week or so, you're going to see bees go silent at the entrance. And that is amazing because on other days, if they find a lot of nectar sources, they're just flooding in and out of the hive. So to answer that question, why your bees have gone silent, I'm assuming you mean not much foraging activity. And this is what's going on. It's just a lot less nectar in this time of the year when we get into late summer, early fall. Another thing you'll see in late summer, early fall is during the dearth, you're going to see bees going for any kind of water source. Like here you can notice that bees are actually in a little bit of standing water here in my gutter. So this is a little bit of brackish water. They love that when it has a little dirt in it. They're not going to put that in your honey, but they're just trying to gather this water. So be sure and put some water out for your bees. You can use a bird bath, just a bucket of water with some floaty things in it. Goes a long way in a dearth to give your bees more moisture. Bees need a little more moisture, especially in the fall, because they're trying to actually add it sometimes to the honey. I know we're all trying to get our honey dried out, but they actually will have to add a little bit to the honey to actually use it. It gets so dry in the fall, so keep that in mind. And here's an example of what you can do if you don't want them in your gutter. You can actually get a little, this is just a plastic bird bath, and you can add water to it. And if you get a little bit of rain, it will stay replenished too. Now, to attract bees to it, you can always add a little bit of sugar initially. You don't have to keep adding sugar, but it's just add a few sticks like this around here. Bees do not make good swimmers, so give them a little bit of something that they can stand on here, like this rock. It may take them 2 or 3 days to actually find this bird bath, this water source, but if they're really needing water, that's going to be a big help for them. Another thing that I love to do, especially in early fall, is to give bees added protein. They're looking for protein, so I just take some pollen powder or protein powder like this. This is actually Ultra Bee, if you want to know what kind I use. And I'll just put it on a plate like this. And you don't want to put it anytime you're feeding bees, either in the open like this, you don't want to put it close to any hives. You don't want your hives to be robbed out. But there's no hives around here. So I'll just put this protein powder, spread it around like this, because it's really dry outside. And what's going to happen, the bees will find this in a few hours, and they'll just fly above it and kind of stir it in the air, and it will be attracted right to the bee's body, and they'll pack it back in their pollen baskets, take it back to the hive. So this is another important thing to do in a dearth. Another thing is you need to be thinking about robbing. In a dearth, that means there's no nectar sources. So that means the bees are going to be going to other hives, trying to steal honey from other hives. Strong hives are going to be robbing weaker hives. So this is the time of the year that you really need to start thinking about robber screens, putting those on your front of your hives. Now, some people have asked me, do I put them on, before robbing starts or when I see robbing started? That's a tough call. It does interfere with a little bit of the bees going in and out, but they're not really foraging much anyway. So I would put it on in advance of robbing actually starting. I think that's going to help out. You put them on at night to help your bees get familiar with it. Another thing that you should be doing during a dearth that's really important, you need to be aware that when you harvest your supers and maybe you're not going to use them again, you're storing them somewhere, watch out for wax moths. This is the time of the year that all pests start growing really amazingly in population in your hives or in your frames of supers. You're going to have more of a problem with small hive beetle this time of the year in the dearth. You're going to have more of a problem with mites. Mites are going to be growing real rapidly and increasing their populations now that it's July, get into August. So you need to be under mite control. Maybe with your supers off, you can create more opportunities for mites to be dealt with. But mites, small hive beetle, wax moth, those are three things that you really have to deal with during a dearth as well. Another thing that you'll see that's really interesting about bees in the fall, during the dearth especially, is they become much more defensive. And you'll even sometimes think that isn't the same hive you used to work. A beehive with a heavy nectar flow where they're flying in and out, they really are much more calm to work. But when there's a dearth, there's no nectar, bees are all home, going to be much more defensive. So be sure and wear plenty of protection, gloves, bee suits, be prepared. Well, now that we're in a dearth, late summer, early fall, a question comes up a lot is, can I still make a split? Can I still split my hives? And I want to answer that question in this video right here. I'll see you guys over there.